but could not give details on the number of pupils taken. Police say they had safely rescued 26, including a female teacher. Around 1,000 students and pupils have been abducted in Nigeria since December. Most have been released after negotiations with local officials, although some are still being held. A statement from his office says President Muhammadu Buhari directs the military, police, and intelligence agencies to ensure safe and early release of all kidnapped victims. Gangs often target rural schools and colleges where students stay in dormitories and security is light, allowing them to easily remove their victims to forest hideouts to negotiate ransom payments. Kaduna's state government orders the immediate closure of 13 schools considered vulnerable to attacks, according to a letter from education authorities. Now for today's COVID file, a Chinese city near the border of Myanmar imposes a lockdown and starts mass testing after 3 coronavirus cases have been reported on Monday, with officials rushing to curb yet another outbreak. It is the second time in 4 months that Ruili, home to more than 210,000 people, has been locked down after the discovery of cases imported from Myanmar. Ruili is a major crossing point from Muse in neighboring Myanmar, which has seen escalating unrest since a February 1 military coup, raising fears that people will try to flood across the border into China to escape the violence. According to health authorities in the Yunnan province, one of the 3 infected patients was a Myanmar national. China closed the main bridge crossing to Myanmar in March as cases surged across the border. Authorities have also increased patrols in recent months to prevent illegal border crossings and crack down on human trafficking to prevent an influx of refugees. The local government says Ruili will test all residents for the virus within 2 days, and all non-essential travel will be banned until further notice. Only one member of each household can leave to buy daily necessities without or with permission during the testing period. Anyone who wants to leave the city must produce a negative virus test conducted in the past 72 hours. The city has tested all residents and urges everyone to get vaccinated after a small outbreak in April. Meanwhile, the government of El Salvador receives 1.5 million doses of the Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine from the United States as part of the COVAX mechanism. Francisco Alabi, Minister of Health of El Salvador, says this is a batch number 17 that arrives in the country and is its 6th delivery by COVAX's global acquisition strategy. Jean Manes, U.S. Charge d'Affaires in the Republic of El Salvador, says the U.S. has a special commitment to the entire region of Latin America and is not going to stop until all countries have the vaccines they require to protect all their citizens. Now for an update of today's COVID-19 numbers, according to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday, July 6, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now over 184,394,000. The top 3 on the list of countries with the most recorded cases are the U.S., with more than 33.7 million, India with more than 30.6 million, and Brazil with more than 18.7 million. The virus has now claimed more than 3,988,000 lives worldwide. And the countries with the 3 most number of COVID-19 related deaths are the U.S., with over 605,000, another milestone in COVID deaths in the country, Brazil with over 525,000, and India with over 403,000. Total vaccine doses administered worldwide are now sitting at 3,250,541,522. In other news, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the Biden administration is waiting for the U.S. intelligence community's assessment on who is responsible for a major cyber attack that has crippled hundreds of companies worldwide.
When they met, if the Russian government cannot or will not take action against criminal actors residing in Russia, we will take action or reserve the right to take action on our own. Now, in this case, the intelligence community has not yet attributed the attack. The cybersecurity community agrees that REvil operates out of Russia with affiliates around the world. So we will continue to allow that assessment to continue. I think I would first say that the attack over the weekend underscores the need for companies and government agencies as well to focus on improving cybersecurity. And we've talked a bit in the past about the importance of private sector entities hardening their own cybersecurity, putting in place best practices that have been recommended by the federal government for some time. But we are going to continue to be partners because it's important to, of course, protect our critical infrastructure, but also protect, play what role we can from the federal government.
Hundreds of Swedish supermarkets remain shut after a major cyber attack that has crippled hundreds of companies worldwide for the past 4 days, with the perpetrators demanding $70 million in Bitcoin to undo the damage. Kaseya, the Miami-based IT company at the center of the hack, says up to 1,500 businesses have been affected by Friday's attack, which has been blamed on Russian-speaking hackers. Experts believe this could be the biggest ransomware attack on record, an increasingly lucrative form of digital hostage-taking in which hackers encrypt victims' data and then demand money for the restored access. The Kaseya attack has ricocheted around the world, affecting businesses from pharmacies to gas stations in at least 17 countries, as well as dozens of New Zealand's kindergartens. Most of Sweden's 800 supermarkets were also shut for a third day running after the hack paralyzed cash registers. In Sacramento, some residents of the city of Sacramento in California say their tap water has an earthy smell and taste in recent weeks. Take a look.
Happy July 4th.
It tasted funny. I mean, even though it came out clear, there was like some kind of taste that I can't explain. So when I do my coffee, I always make sure I use a bottled water and stuff like that. The only time I use the water is like for cooking, boiling, stuff like that. I don't like lemon. I mean, I like lemon, but I'm not going to be doing that. No, it should be just cleared. It should be tasteless. It should be refreshing, first of all. I mean, especially thousands and millions of people drinking water from the tap. It has to be safe.
City officials say this is due to an algae that proliferates in warm water when water reservoirs are low. According to officials, this is a normal occurrence in the area, but it happens in the fall, not in the summer.
Here in the city of Sacramento, we've received some complaints about our drinking water. We've had an earthy taste and odor. It's something that we would typically receive in late summer and fall. And this year we've been receiving these complaints a little bit earlier. So the water is safe to drink. It's actually a common occurrence, like I said. It usually happens a little bit later in the year. There are some naturally occurring bacteria that produce a compound called geosmin, and that compound is responsible for some of that earthy taste and odor. Our treatment processes aren't necessarily designed to remove that. Some people are a little more sensitive than others, and what we're telling people to do is either add a little bit of lemon juice or chill their water, and that will neutralize that odor.
What has happened this year is because it was a disappointing rain year and water levels in reservoirs upstream of us are lower, water temperatures are higher, and also the flows in the river are lower than they normally would be at this time of year. And those two things have sort of combined to create a situation where the musty, earthy tastes are just occurring more sooner than we normally would expect.
In the nation's capital, due to the current temperatures and forecast of extreme heat, Mayor Muriel Bowser has activated the district's heat emergency plan for Tuesday, July 6 and Wednesday, July 7, 2021. When the forecast of the temperature or heat index in the district is 95 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, district government, through the Department of Human Services and the Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency, implements the heat emergency plan and activates cooling centers for the residents to seek relief from the heat. While some cooling centers will open specifically when a heat emergency is activated, many of the district's cooling centers will be available during their regular business hours. If you or someone you know needs transportation to a cooling center, please call the shelter hotline at 202-399-7093. Residents may find their closest cooling center using the district's interactive map online. Up next on Eagle News America, we'll have updates from Texas and the state of California. Eagle News America will continue. Stay with us.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization, startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Your weekly dose of entrepreneurial inspiration to update you on the latest developments in the world of business. Get up close and personal with CEOs and thought leaders to help you discover valuable insights. Sharpen your instincts for smart decision making with the latest markets and economic trends, disruptive ideas, global innovation, social entrepreneurship, and other leading-edge business ideas. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business, from vision to action.
Welcome back. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Philip Toledo in Atlanta. Austin, Texas is in celebratory mode as the city reaches a vaccination milestone, plus plans on opening a new bridge shelter. These stories from Eagle News correspondent Jessica Isidro joining us live tonight. Jessica.
Thank you, Philip, and howdy from the Lone Star State. On Friday, Austin Public Health, or APH, in partnership with Travis County and community agencies, reported that almost 70% of Travis County residents ages 12 and up have already received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, with just over 60% fully vaccinated. According to health officials, Travis County, coming close to the national milestone set by the White House in the spring, in reaching the 70% mark, is a direct result of close partnerships and teamwork between APH, Travis County, and numerous hospitals and community organizations. According to interim APH Director Adrian Stirrup, existing vaccinations are still more than 90% effective in keeping individuals safe. Knowing this, we continue our work with partners and community leaders to address barriers preventing individuals from getting the vaccine. Austin Mayor Steve Adler stated, "We also know there are areas in our community that have not received their first shot that we need to reach our vaccination and health goals. Science shows that the Delta variant strain of the virus is a real threat, especially for those who remain unvaccinated or only received one dose of the vaccine. We urge everyone who is not vaccinated or with only one shot to make a plan to get vaccinated. APH and Travis County are striving to reach a 70% first dose goal, as well as continue focus on reaching the next milestone of 70% of eligible residents fully vaccinated by Labor Day. As of June 26, APH and Travis County combined have administered 437,279 vaccinations, and both entities are shifting from mass vaccination clinics to community-based pop-up sites at grocery stores, churches, neighborhood centers, and apartment complexes. COVID-19 vaccinations are free and do not require insurance or identification. For more information, visit vaccines.gov. In other news, City of Austin plans to convert one of the city's previously owned hotels used as a pro lodge for individuals in need of a safe place to isolate during COVID-19 into a bridge shelter for people experiencing homelessness. The Central Austin Hotel, located at 3105 North IH 35, will provide 55 rooms for unsheltered individuals and is the city's second bridge shelter to open in an overall effort to provide 300 more beds for people experiencing homelessness by mid-August. City of Austin Homeless Strategy Officer Diana Gray mentioned that while the city is in the process of finding solutions for permanent housing, it also recognizes the immediate need for safe places for the homeless to sleep. Gray stated, the creation of a second bridge shelter and efforts to increase the community's emergency shelter capacity demonstrate our commitment to providing alternatives for people experiencing homelessness in Austin. Meanwhile, I hope you are staying safe and healthy in your part of the country. In Austin, Texas, I'm Jessica Isidro, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Philip.
Thanks, Jessica. That's great news to hear of the high numbers there in Travis County of vaccinations. What about for you and your community circle there? What's been your experience with the vaccine and the vaccine rate?
So for myself, I was vaccinated back in January. I jumped at the opportunity because at the time I was still doing one-to-one therapy with my patients. So when I was allowed to get the vaccine, I did so. As far as my coworkers and people in my close circle, we've all been vaccinated as well. Philip?
Thanks. So it looks like you're mirroring there the percentage of the county. With regards to the other report that you mentioned there, with the opening of these new shelters, have you actually seen the number of homeless people on the streets decrease?
Actually, I have. So back in January, when I first moved to Austin, there was this overpass that I would pass by a couple times a week, and from left to right, it was full of tents. Ever since the first shelter opened, the number started going down. And from what I noticed this past weekend, when I went through the same overpass, there were no tents at all from what I could see. Philip?
Yeah, well, that's great news. It seems like things are working as intended. So thanks so much, Jessica, for joining this evening. Stay well, and we'll catch up with you here at our roundtable at the end of the show. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, California, the Federal Bureau of Investigation warns residents against online predators, who they say are on the rise. Reporting live, Eagle News correspondent Annabelle De Mesa is with us this evening. Annabelle?
Thank you, Philip. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, or FBI, in Los Angeles cautions residents and parents to be alert of the increasing cases of online predators victimizing teens and children in the virtual world. FBI Los Angeles tweets, sexual predators are using a variety of tactics to target children. Learn more about how the FBI's Crimes Against Children program is working to keep the ones we love free from harm. In addition, FBI New York recently issued a public service announcement titled, It's Not a Game, to warn parents that predators are finding clever ways to target young people. These predators are now more prevalent in the cyber world, where teens and children can be found in online games and interactive chat rooms. Millions of people, young and old, log in every day to play games and compete against other players. Unfortunately, vulnerable and unknowing teens and children are not adept in recognizing or defending themselves against cyber criminals. Predators capitalize on the inexperienced and trusting nature of the younger generation, taking advantage of potential victims. So, what can Angelenos, especially parents, do to ward off online predators? According to professionals and experts, open communication is the key. It is never too early to make children aware of the unsafe strangers around them. This, of course, includes places like social media sites, online gaming platforms, and interactive chat rooms. Sharing real-life stories of these incidents will also help them understand the importance of this warning as well. In Glendale, California, Annabelle De Mesa, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Philip.
Thanks, Annabelle. Now, it seems that the internet is becoming a place for criminals and predators, for them, right? A great hideout. How grave, according to the FBI, is this situation?
Philip, many experts agree this is an escalating situation we need to address before it gets worse. It's easy for anyone to hide their identity and pretend to be someone else. So crimes ranging from cyberbullying and identity theft to money fraud and sexual exploitation are more prevalent. The solution is to make the public aware of these cybercrimes with steps to protect the entire family on the internet. That's why the FBI has taken necessary actions like public service announcements to make everyone aware of what's going on in the virtual and online world. Philip?
Thanks, Annabelle. That's definitely a good reminder for all of us, not just those that are there in LA County. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Philip.
Now, still to come, we'll have an update from New Jersey as well as EBC Sports. Eagle News America will continue. We'll be right back.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Hey there, Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net25.
Welcome back. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Philip Toledo. For our next story, there's none. And by none, we mean no new confirmed COVID-19 deaths in the state of New Jersey. Bureau Chief Carlo Valdez reports.
Thanks, Philip. For the first time since March 17, 2020, New Jersey is reporting 0 new confirmed coronavirus deaths. Less than 2 weeks ago, New Jersey reported no in-hospital COVID-19 deaths. New Jersey was once an epicenter of the coronavirus and is now slowly recovering. More people are now being vaccinated while the weather is also getting warmer. For the last 9 days, New Jersey has been reporting single-digit COVID-19 deaths. Many of those deaths come from elder residents, 80 years of age and older, and especially those with pre-existing conditions. New Jersey still reports of 145 new positive PCR tests, pushing the total to 894,007. In Union Township, New Jersey, Carlo Valdez, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Philip.
For EBC Sports, the Tokyo Olympics are coming up, and one of the most popular sports at the Olympic Games might come as a surprise. It's golf. For some Olympic golf news, here's EJ Gonzalez. EJ?
Thanks, Philip. Yeah, so before the 2016 Olympics in Rio, the sport of golf was not included in the Olympics for over 100 years. But due to its significant growth in popularity, especially for the younger audience, golf was the 7th most popular sport in Rio in terms of fan engagement around the world. That's out of the 42 sports featured in the 2016 Olympics. Well, today, the 60 men and 60 women to compete in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics have been completed, with 36 countries being represented in the women's division and 35 countries being represented in the men's division. Collectively, there are 53 qualified players out from Europe, 30 from Asia, 26 from the USA, and the remaining 11 from Oceania and Africa. The International Golf Federation has finalized these golfers' rankings today. Jon Rahm from Spain secured the #1 rank after his major championship win in the US Open, and Nelly Korda from the US claimed the #1 rank in the women's division after her latest major championship win. Now, the Philippines has 3 representatives that have qualified to compete in this year's Olympics for the sport of golf. One of them being the latest golf sensation of the Philippines, Yuka Saso, who won this year's major tournament of the US Women's Open and became the first Filipina to ever win a golf major. She ranks #8 in the women's division for the Olympics. Bianca Pagdanganan will also be competing in the women's division, ranked at #44 out of 60, and Yuvik Pagunsan will be competing in the men's division and was ranked #48 out of 60. Now, for the U.S. representatives in the men's division, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Xander Schauffele, and Bryson DeChambeau make up the ranks 2 through 5. The Olympic golf competition will be an 8-day event, with the 4 days hosting the men's tournament from July 29th to August 1st at the Kasumi Gaseki Country Club, with the women's tournament to follow from August 4th to August 7th. In Alexandria, Virginia, EJ Gonzalez, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Philip.
Thanks, EJ. Now, I understand that there was also a golf-related event that was held today. What's the scoop on that?
Yep. So the TNT was hosting what they're calling the match. This is the fourth time that they're holding this type of event where they pair up. It's 2 versus 2, a 2 versus 2 golf match. This year, it's Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady against Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers. And the trash talking has been going on for the last couple of weeks and has been making headlines, and why golf has been making headlines in recent weeks. And today they're playing that, and it's actually ongoing right now. After the first 9 holes, it was a tie, but then Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers have now taken a three-hole lead over Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady, who is doing a lot of trash talking before the event. But so far, it's this event is actually used to accumulate money for charity. So they're playing today. All of the holes are being used for charity. All the winnings, and so far they've risen almost 2.6 million, or more than 2.6 million in charity just from the 15 holes, and there's still 4 more to play.
Thanks, EJ. Now, before I let you go, we couldn't have you giving an EBC Sports update without touching on the NBA. And the NBA finals start tonight. Who do you have winning Game 1?
Yeah, so there's actually breaking news before Game 1 that Giannis, who had a hyperextended left knee injury recently, he was actually questionable and doubtful. Actually, at the beginning of the day, moved to questionable, and actually is now playing in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. I'm sure he didn't want to miss this opportunity, especially with his Bucks being a favorite earlier in the season. So Giannis is playing, and he seems to be playing okay right now. Through the half, it's a very tight game, but the Suns have taken a lead at 57-49 at the end of the first half. It's hard for me to root for Giannis or Devin Booker. They're 2 of my favorite players right now in the NBA. But I think I want to root for the Suns to win Game 1 and ultimately the series, because the Suns have never won a championship in their franchise history. So that would be definitely a momentous occasion, especially with Chris Paul being there, and him winning his first ring would be something special. Philip.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that report, EJ. We'll be catching up with you here in just a few moments. Up next, we'll have business news, followed by our virtual roundtable about how we want our chicken fried. Because, again, July 6th is National Fried Chicken Day. You won't want to miss it. Eagle News America will return in just a moment.
Factual.
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
Timely information. Balanced, not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Aguila Pilipinas. A 1-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Probinsya. Tune into Mata ng Aguila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Aguila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science, and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to explain our health outdoor.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Welcome back. We'll head to EBC's Bobby Soriano for tonight's business news.
Good evening. U.S. markets have closed. Here are your latest business headlines. Yesterday marked the beginning of a new era at Amazon, as Andy Jassy officially entered his role as CEO, replacing Jeff Bezos, who was at the helm of the company since its inception. Mr. Jassy is no newcomer to the company, however, as he joined it in 1997 when he was only 29 years old and having just graduated from Harvard Business School. Working closely alongside founder Jeff Bezos since its early days, Mr. Jassy would help to establish Amazon Web Services, one of Amazon's most profitable divisions. He comes into the company's big chair as shares of Amazon are hitting record highs, but face strengthening competition from other online retailers such as Walmart and Shopify, and possible regulatory intervention due to ongoing scrutiny over treatment of its essential workers and monopolistic business practices. This morning, Nintendo made a surprise announcement that its flagship console, the Nintendo Switch, would be receiving a hardware upgrade. The new Switch OLED model will feature a larger 7-inch screen and launches at a suggested price of $350 on October 8th, the Japanese firm said in a statement. The device will feature upgraded graphics and memory and include an adjustable stand to allow for play in tabletop mode with multiple players. The new console is a great option for players who want to experience the new vibrant screen when playing in handheld and tabletop mode, said Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser. Quote, with the addition of this new model to the Nintendo Switch family of systems, people have an additional choice of a system that best fits the gaming experience they desire. Nintendo, as well as the entire video game industry, has seen massive growth during the pandemic, as customers look for new electronic entertainment during lockdown restrictions. Video game year-over-year sales have been up 14 out of the past 15 months, and the Nintendo Switch continues to be the best-selling hardware platform in both unit and dollar terms among the 3 major console makers as of this past May. Lastly, the force does not appear to be with Microsoft, as Pentagon officials announced today the cancellation of the much-embattled JEDI cloud computing project it had awarded to the company. JEDI, which is short for Joint Enterprise Defense Infrastructure, was a cloud computing project that was awarded to Microsoft back in 2019 and was an attempt by the U.S. Department of Defense to unify and upgrade all of its computing requirements under a single provider and increase efficiency and digital cooperation amongst its many agencies. However, the contract faced immediate objections and litigation from other suppliers such as Amazon, who had hoped to win the contract, estimated to be worth $10 billion over 10 years. In an official statement by the Pentagon, the Department of Defense has determined that due to evolving requirements, increased cloud convergency, and industry advances, the JEDI cloud contract no longer meets its needs. The decision represents a setback for Microsoft, which will now likely have to share the work with its cloud computing competitors. In a statement posted on its website, Microsoft said it accepted the decision. Quote, the DoD faced a difficult choice, continuing with what could be a year-long litigation battle or find another path forward. Because the security of the United States through the provision of critical technology upgrades is more important than any single contract, we respect and accept DoD's decision to move forward on a different path. U.S. markets closed in the red today, but off session lows, as investors took profits from a very quiet June and prepared for a volatile earnings season which would begin later this month. Reporting from New York, Bobby Soriano, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Today, July 6th, is National Fried Chicken Day. And if you could see our conversations from behind the scenes, this is a topic that is near and dear to pretty much all of our hearts. According to Thrillist.com, there are several different kinds of fried chicken, such as country fried, which is favored in, well, the country or the South, buffalo wings, which means different things to different people, buttermilk, popcorn, a perennial favorite for the children, they're going to correct me on how I say this later, karaage, which is Japanese, and Nashville hot chicken, which seems to pop up in places other than Nashville. So for tonight, for our virtual roundtable, our Eagle News America team is going to discuss a little bit about everything related to fried chicken. Let's start first, though, with something that might be a little bit more difficult to answer. Let's talk about if we were going to make fried chicken ourselves, or if we have made it, how would we do it? Annabelle, why don't we start with you? Have you made fried chicken before? And if so, what is your preferred way to fry chicken?
Oh, that's tricky because I don't actually cook. But I did used to cook in the past, burned myself with oil a lot. And when I did fry chicken, I preferred it to be marinated a little bit and deep fried. So I put a lot of oil on the frying pan, make sure it's really hot. And then I just dip chicken in there and then just enjoy it with its, marinated, flavored and deep fried goodness.
Absolutely. Is there a certain type of marinade that you would use?
I prefer it salty, so I like to just use soy sauce and pepper. I'm not brave enough to put any, chili in there, but, I feel like the salt kind of balances out how greasy the food is, so I go for that.
That's right. Salt and grease are a good combination. Jane Kathleen, our producer tonight, what about you? What's your preferred way, if you do so, to fry chicken?
Well, just like Annabelle, I don't fry the chicken myself, but my husband, who's lately been a grill master, he's actually been experimenting with different marinades and also experimenting with our air fryer. So one of the really, really delicious air fried chicken that he made was like a huli chicken, kind of like a Hawaiian marinade, where he put like pineapple juice, brown sugar, garlic, lots of garlic, soy sauce, sesame oil, and he marinated it overnight. And then without actually adding any breading to it, he fried it on the air fryer until it was like a crispy golden brown, and the outside was crispy, crunchy, and the inside was really tender, very moist, and very flavorful. So that was one of my favorite fried chickens. Philip?
Jane, I'm not sure if you noticed, but as you were describing that, I think all of our faces were in this like silly grin as we're imagining, this fried chicken. And that's actually similar. When you said air fryer, it made me think, when we're in the pandemic, we weren't able to go out as much as we were used to. And so, I'm not going to admit how many times a week I normally eat fried chicken, but we tried to find creative ways to do so. And we also did something similar with our air fryer. And, my wife and I, we're both half Filipino, and we're big fans of chicken adobo. And so what we did is we marinated it in, the sauce, the vinegar and the soy sauce and all of that. And then we just popped it in the air fryer. We tried it once with breading and once without. And I think we prefer without, but since it was in the air fryer, I think that it was healthy. So, EJ, what about you? How do you fry your chicken?
Yeah, no, I don't cook at all, bro. I love the way that Jane was explaining though, because it makes me want to try that. We don't have an air fryer here at home. We have I think it's like an induction type. It's called a New Wave. I guess it's considered an air fryer, but but the way my wife makes it, we do baked. So we do baked chicken, and that's not the topic, so I'm not going to discuss that. But she does make really good soy glazed baked chicken. It's so good. But yeah, let's keep talking about fried chicken. Let's ask Jessica how she fries hers.
Okay, well, I've had my fair share of experiments. Bouncing off of the topic of Filipino food, at one point I was on a diet and not eating rice. and I was really like scrolling through the internet looking for recipes, and I came across a tamarind fried chicken. So oh my gosh, I made a marinade out of the tamarind soup mix and some water, put in some garlic, and then you marinate the chicken wings in that, and then you air fry that. It tasted so good. There's also, I really like Korean fried chicken. I've dabbled in that a little bit. The trick there is flash frying twice. So that makes it extra crispy. And then there's also, let me think, I made like the Asian popcorn chicken and then cut it up, and I'm trying to remember, you coat it in like tapioca starch with all these other seasonings, and then you fry that twice to make it super crispy. And yeah, I could go on and on about frying chicken. So Philip, go ahead.
Well, why don't we turn the tables a little bit? And EJ, I know you said that you don't cook. If you were going to go to the store and or the restaurant and get fried chicken, where would you go and why?
Well, I think Popeyes is just like a staple, especially here in our area. So I think Popeyes would definitely be my number one pick. But Philip, remind me, I used to live in Atlanta, right? And I think it's either Kroger or like
Publix, man. Publix fried chicken.
The Publix fried chicken is on another level. Like, I've never had like supermarket fried chicken that was that good. Publix, I think I remember we ate it at like one of the events together, Philip, and I was like, yo, this is so good. This is the first time I had it. Publix would definitely be one to try if you guys are ever in Atlanta. I don't know if there's Publix anywhere else around the world, but Publix in Atlanta, if you want supermarket store fried chicken, that one's a really good choice. But I gotta eat it with rice, man. I have to eat fried chicken with rice. It's the perfect compliment. I don't think I can not eat fried chicken without rice. I also like the Korean fried chicken. The banchan over here is where we get it. I'm sure. I think you guys might be familiar with that. But yeah, those would be my go-tos for fried chicken for sure.
That's a good point, and I'm glad you brought up the rice because I don't know. That's if you ask me, my ultimate comfort food. It's fried chicken and rice.
And rice.
The Filipino banana ketchup. And then I take the skin off. There's too much information, but I take the skin off, and then I use the skin to make like a little rice burrito. And then
roll it? You roll up the skin?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I take the skin, and then I put the rice in the skin, and then roll it up, and then dip it in the banana ketchup. So it's like I don't know. Maybe that's weird, but that's the way I do it. Annabelle, what about you? Where do you go buy your fried chicken?
Oh, me?
or Jane, you as well.
Oh,
where do you want to buy your chicken?
Oh, sorry. I was actually so excited to share where I go buy my chicken because one of my favorite. You mentioned it earlier. One of my favorite was Nashville Hot style chicken, and here in Corpus Christi, the place where we can get it is KFC. But I know lately in Dallas or other places there have been a lot of openings of other Nashville Hot style fried chickens. But in addition to that, I love Korean fried chicken. Especially there's like a soy garlic, which is kind of sweet and savory with the garlic in it, and then also like the Korean spicy chicken. But Philip, when I was in Hawaii, when I used to live there, there was a restaurant called Zippy's, and their signature dish was the fried chicken with chili plate, where you get like a side of fried chicken and chili on top of your white rice. It was just so delicious, or in Hawaii we would say "ono-licious." Philip?
Oh, that sounds so good. Annabelle, what about you? Where would you buy your fried chicken?
I feel like so inexperienced because everyone has different places to get their fried chicken, but I used to live near the city and I usually just go to one or two places. So I usually go to Popeyes, and because I've known it longer and they have drive-thrus near where I live, I usually go to Jollibee. So I prefer the original, of course, because I'm too weak sauce to handle the spicy ones, even though everybody else says it's not that spicy, but I'm like, yeah, it's pretty spicy to me. And I prefer also with white rice, and I always have the chicken with gravy. But if I have like leftover gravy after all of it, I literally drink it like a shot. Like, I love the gravy. And yeah, so I usually have it either with rice, with something called palabok, or with the spaghetti. So, and I also like how their chicken, it's like their skin is crispy, but it's not so crispy in the sense like it scratches my mouth, because I have a really sensitive soft palate. So the skin kind of just crumbles in your mouth. And when you have it with the gravy and the rice, it's not too salty. It's not too umami. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but the flavor isn't too strong, but it's just enough, and the balance is just right to me.
That sounds great. But if you've got a sensitive soft palate, you have to be careful with the Publix chicken, because they do. It's pretty hefty in the amount of the breading that's on there, and it can get a little crusty. We'll go off script here for just a second. I think we all mentioned that we like eating our fried chicken with rice. I have to ask, if you're in the comfort of your own home, you're eating your fried chicken and rice, are you using silverware?
Yes.
No, I'm using my hands, man.
I am also
I gotta eat with
using
my hands.
You have to eat chicken with your hands. But I eat my rice with spoon and fork.
Oh man, I use a spoon and fork, but the only time I ever use my hand is like if I want to dip the skin in the gravy. But yeah, I feel like so boring now because I actually eat with utensils.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's probably more sanitary. Well, on the other hand, then you've got me. I'm at a church picnic this weekend, and then everybody's looking at me because I'm just standing there, eating rice with my hands. I don't speak any Tagalog, but that's my one, Filipino cultural attribute is I'm really good at eating chicken and rice with my hands. Aside from white rice, though, in the few moments that we have left, Jessica, what sides do you like to pair with your fried chicken?
This is a loaded question because I'm from the South. So it depends. I like chicken and waffles. There's also, if I'm getting Popeyes, I got to get the Cajun fries and mashed potatoes. Mm-hmm. If I just made the chicken myself, I'm eating it with rice and with my hands like a savage. What else? There's this place in Dallas called Babe's Chicken. Philip, I know you've been there before. Their cream corn, they have like all the classic Southern sides you can think of. So good. But again, I can go on and on about sides and chickens.
EJ, what about you? Aside from rice, what's your preferred fried chicken side?
I mean, mashed potatoes is good, fries is good, but nothing does it like rice, man. And I'm glad Annabelle brought up Jollibee because there's not a lot of Jollibee here in our area. Actually, there's one that just opened, and that's 40 minutes away. Before, we used to have to drive all the way to Virginia Beach, which is like a 3.5-hour trip just to get some Jollibee, right? But I think now that they're expanding Jollibees all over America, I think they're trying to open over 200 restaurants now over I just read that today on social media. Don't quote me on that, but I think that is what they're planning to do. And I think there's a plan that's going to be 15 minutes away from me. So I'm super excited about that because I got to have fried chicken with rice, man. And Jollibee's the only restaurant that serves it with rice, unless you're in the Philippines. When I was in the Philippines and I went to KFC and they gave me a wrap, right? And I thought it was like a burger. But I opened it and it was rice, and I was super excited.
Even the McDonald's too. That was something surprising to me when I visited the Philippines. I was able to get fried chicken and rice at McDonald's. I was like, hey.
Yeah.
Jane, how about you? What's your non-rice side to fried chicken?
Well, Philip, I'm a cheesy kind of person, so I love mac and cheese if ever it's available, at the chicken place that I get it from. But I have to backtrack and mention the sauce. Okay. Recently, I didn't know about there, but here, like Chick-fil-A has released its sauces at the grocery store. Yes. And the Polynesian sauce, oh my goodness, it goes with everything. Even if I get a different fried chicken from a different restaurant that's not Chick-fil-A, I will try the Polynesian sauce with it. It's just so delicious. But yes, I love mac and cheese. And I also, like Jessica mentioned Popeyes earlier, I love the Cajun, the Cajun red beans and rice. I love that with my fried chicken. Philip?
Annabelle, what about yourself? What's your favorite non-rice side to fried chicken?
Well, I've already mentioned Jollibee's side, so I gotta move on to what I liked in Popeyes. So last time I went to Popeyes, I cannot resist their biscuits. And I will admit, I will use my hands when I eat those biscuits because, I don't think anyone would eat biscuits with their utensils. But yeah, like their biscuits like melt in your mouth. It's crispy on the outside, very soft on the inside. And then you get gravy on that too. It's in. It does it for me. It runs as well with the chicken. They know what they're doing.
Or get the blackened ranch.
Ooh.
And I've also dipped my biscuit in the blackened ranch. Like I don't know if that's weird, but I'm just saying.
I do that too. It's okay. If it's weird, we can both be weird.
Thank you for the validation. And just for the record, if you eat rice and chicken with your hands, it's not anything, bad. You're just, trying to be more sustainable and reducing waste. And, reducing the water needed to wash those things. Well, thank you, everyone. We're all smiles tonight. We're talking about fried chicken, but we're also smiles because before we go, we want to remember and we want to thank all of those for the last many months of the pandemic that have been helping us, our frontliners, our essential workers, first responders, everybody helping us get through this pandemic so that we can enjoy that fried chicken with all of our friends. So we give you a tremendous round of applause. Thank you so much, sincerely, for all that you do. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for tonight's episode of Eagle News America. We hope wherever you are, you're staying safe and you're staying well. I'm Philip Toledo. We live in interesting times.
Start up your weekday mornings with